Hello and welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Off the Score with Eden Longson. I am he. That is Eden Longson. Anyway, today we've got two very special guests, two great friends of mine. We've got Mr. Tom Carter and Mr. Anthony Hulme. These guys, I've known these guys a while. I've known Anthony for an extremely long time. I think we met when we were both, I think I was 17, or I was 16, 17. Yeah, it started to us. So I was 16, he was 17, so I'm 25 now, so we've known each other 9 years. Wow. We've been in a band together. We were in a metal band called Inglorious back in the day. We started this like rap metal band. I think we were quite into Limp Bizkit at the time, and I just think we wanted to get something off our chests. So we started that with our mate Tom and our other friend Alex, and it was just, it was fun. It was great fun. It was nice to just shred out on the drums, and he plays the guitar, so we were just shredding out on that. It was great. But then Tom is a little bit older than us, but he came into my sort of circulation via Anthony's wedding. Actually, Anthony got married a couple of years ago now, and yeah, it was they've got a kid now. Wow. Oh yeah. Oh, that's the thing. I recorded this podcast before he had the kid, and now he's had the kid, so that's amazing. Little Tommy, which is awesome. And yeah, so Tom entered my life because we met at Hulme's wedding. Hulme is what we call Anthony Hulme, Hulme, yeah, whatever. And so we met at the wedding. We hung out, and it was like, wow, this guy is someone I want to be friends with. He's really cool, lots in common, and yeah, he's great. He basically, the two of them together own Riff Factory. Riff Factory is a recording studio / rehearsal room in Stoke-On-Trent, which is where I'm originally from. It's where they both live. And it's actually doing really well. They've been going for about 5 years. Well, I think Tom had the recording studio going for a while before that, but when they moved in together into the same building a couple of years ago, they've kept it going. It's still working, it's still going, and it's just really great. It's a really great hub for music in Stoke-On-Trent, and they're both two really lovely guys. They're really awesome, and I love hanging out with them. Yeah, I just really hope you enjoyed the podcast today. These two are two of my favourite human beings of all time. And I hope you enjoy. Thanks.
It's just allowed.
Well, I've already done it. You don't need to do it again. What are you doing? Okay. Welcome.
Now you're missing the...
Sorry.
Why is this?
Can you just show us how it's done one more time, please? So it was like more of a...
Yeah, you've got it. You can't be smiling.
Bit of a pathetic smile.
Yeah, you've got to do like a Kanye, don't smile.
Like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's better. Can I oh God.
Oh.
Can I just say, like, there are going to be people who are going to listen to this in purely audio form.
Oh.
So they might be confused by what's going on, which is basically you guys taking the mic, which I believe is our relationship anyway, in fairness. So there we go. Bit of dead air to start the podcast. Lovely. Anthony, how are you?
I am very good.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Tom, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Great. So,
How are you?
okay. Yeah, I'm alright. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting uni tomorrow.
Cool.
Yeah, I've got Fresh Sweet tomorrow.
Is that for your
Nice.
masters?
Yes. So I'm like, when I went to uni the first time, the night before I left, I had like a full-on panic attack, nervous breakdown, like crying, like no one's gonna like me, all this kind of shit. And that was when I was 19. So now I'm 25. I'm a bit like, if no one likes me, I don't care.
You're one of the most likable guys I know.
That doesn't filter through to my head, though. You know what I mean? Like it's all in my head, obviously. But I don't know. Yeah. So that's my issues anyway. That's what I've got to contend with. But I just got some demons, Just gotta lay off that heroin.
Just got some demons.
Please hard pan these mics.
I'm gonna do some weird stuff with our sounds afterwards. It's gonna be beautiful. So I had loads of questions for you guys, and I can't even think of what question to start with. My first question was going to be, you guys listen to a lot of music in terms of like so Anthony, for reference, Anthony runs the rehearsal rooms of Riff Factory, Sunderland Street, Stoke-On-Trent. Sutherland Street, Stoke-On-Trent. Oh my god, I'm fired.
Made that mistake the other day, and he turned up at like 1 PM. He's like, "I'm booked into rehearse on Sunday," and he's like banging on the door because I was in recording. And I'm like, "Man," I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "I'm trying to find the way to the rehearsal because I'm booked in for Sunday, but someone's giving me Sunderland Street, and I've been driving around since 11 AM." This old guy was like, he was very angry.
Who gave him Sunderland Street then?
Well, I guess it was you.
I do tell people.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone's like...
Yeah, well, some old dude is super annoyed.
I wonder if that was me.
Oh, damn. Oh, the plot thickens.
No.
No, it can't be.
No, it couldn't
Come on,
be.
you're the boss.
I don't do anything wrong.
Well, I'm still wearing my headphones. Oh, God, I'm going to look stupid for the first 3 minutes of this podcast.
And following 3 minutes.
Just 3 minutes.
An hour. Yeah.
Just 3 minutes.
No.
This is an hour?
What? Yeah.
Sorry, mate. What are we saying about Ant? Runs a rehearsal studio, doesn't he?
He does. And then you run a recording studio.
Mm-hmm.
Both tied in Riff Factory rehearsal/recording. So you guys listen to like a lot of music every day because you have to. But what was like the last music you like sat and listened to? Like not because you had to, but because you wanted to listen to some music.
Tool.
The new Tool album, yeah.
Yeah,
It seems to be hitting the waves. I've not listened to it yet.
It's well good.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
I've heard mixed things, but I'm not a Tool fan. I get it, but I'm not a Tool fan. I should be. Really should be. But yeah, I've heard mixed reviews. Probably need to make my own mind up.
Yeah, I was gonna say go and listen to it yourself. I guess I've not listened to it. I don't know any Tool really. Like the couple of songs I've listened to, I've been like, yeah, alright. But like people always describe them as really Marmite. Like either you love Tool and you get it, or you hate them.
Yeah, I can see that with a lot of the fans. Definitely.
Yeah.
I thought that was the case, right? But loads of people who call themselves Tool fans, actually, they just like the hits, like the rock songs with the choruses. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that one.
But they don't like... So I've seen a few people describe themselves as Tool fans.
Yeah.
Have said all the albums have got like a few songs and some filler. I'm like, well... If you think that's filler, then you're not really a Tool fan, to be honest.
Totally.
Like,
yeah.
And the new albums is kind of even more like that. So what they consider filler is like, and I wouldn't call it genius because it's not that clever. But there's some really, really good stuff. Like 10,000 Days is awesome. That was the last album, and this one is probably as good, but it's very different. It's much more chilled out. And you like it, man?
Yeah, I'm sure I would. Like every
cool.
time I've anyone show me stuff, like I say, I've been like, yeah, that's good, But that's definitely caused a lot of buzz recently. I think that album. I mean, Tool, where do Tool rank? Because like Slipknot got to number 1 not that long ago, which was pretty crazy.
Well, Well, I don't know where the album came in the charts, but I know when Tool got released to all the online platforms like iTunes and Spotify.
Yeah.
I think they had 7 songs in the top 10 on that day.
Oh wow!
Which is quite incredible.
That's
really.
like Ariana Grande releasing a new album. That's what happens with her.
Well, I think the last time that happened was Ed Sheeran with Divide. Like.
Oh right, yeah.
It's really impressive. A lot of people are calling it Tool Day.
Tool Day.
Like people, I know people who boot the day off work to listen to just Tool all day.
No way.
Spotify, yeah.
The difference is though, isn't it? Is that like you have people who will do that, but the difference is that you have like, let's say like 0.01% of the population who will love Tool that much, but then you have like 70% of the population who will just like put on Ariana Grande. Like that's, I guess that's the big difference is like the fact that like how many times have you listened to Tool on Radio 1?
Yeah, never.
Yeah, exactly.
They would have been.
No, I just don't listen to Radio
1. yeah, there's that as well. I mean, I listen to Radio 3 or Classic FM, so I don't hear any of it, but because I'm just nerd.
There's nothing wrong with that. My dog listens to Classic FM.
Oh yeah, you've got that dog radio. Yeah.
No, it's not dog radio. It's a proper radio.
It's just a proper radio you leave on for your dog.
What's a dog radio?
Yeah, it's like a radio you leave on for your dog. So that your dog's
a radio then.
It looks like a dog.
It's just a dog radio. It's got a bone on it. What? Have you not heard of
like
that?
Gromit. Wallace and Gromit. Bet he's got a dog radio.
I think I used to have like a I used to have like a toy of Grommet, and it was like it had like audio coming out of it. I don't know if it was like clips from the show or something.
It was like every time you chewed it, it squeaked. It was like,
yeah, and then it was,
Yeah, but going back to Tool, like before we were ever talking about Riff Factory, I remember talking to Tom about Tool and saying I didn't like Tool, and he told me to go home and listen to 10,000 Days.
Right.
I put it off because I knew it was going to be like I had to sit there for however long it was and listen to it, and I didn't like it very much. Yeah. But for its time, I think it was probably one of the best sounding albums I've ever heard.
Like so like the actual audio.
Yeah, I could. The only time I ever felt like that about another album was Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh yeah.
Like thinking for its time, like what a masterpiece. And I think 10,000 Days still to this day, the production on it stands up to any other album. It's great. Again, it's not for me, but I think I get it, and it's quite cool. Like,
so what was the last piece of music? What was not piece of music, but what was the last music you feel like you've listened to listen to music?
It's a strange one because I listen to a lot of singles, like of the bands that I like. I listen to more podcasts than anything else now, like when I'm driving, just because
podcasts are amazing, especially when they're done by your friends. I'd consider as not childhood friends, but I mean,
you say what you want.
Childhood.
Yeah.
Friends. No, the last album I listened to and really liked was the new Knocked Loose album.
Okay.
Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's amazing. It's heavy and it's very well done.
Well, that's the thing. You guys both, I think both of you have listened to heavier music, and I think maybe, do you ever wonder about this? Because like a lot of the bands from around Stoke are heavy. I think it's kind of like it's almost like a heavy city, and I don't know where that's come from almost. Like a lot of kids are making heavier music and then are listening to heavier music as well, and I just wonder where do you think that's come from?
I don't know if that's necessarily true,
Okay, go
on. Although there is a lot of like metal and rock, but a lot of the bands come through here, they like sort of indie and even pop sort of sounds. Like even if they are guitar bands, like they're not necessarily that heavy. And there is some really heavy stuff like Full Gore you were in today. Is
bit of free promo for
that's
Full
ridiculously heavy.
Yeah.
But I should show you that actually.
Yeah, I'm excited.
But like a lot of the stuff I work on, is more kind of like indie or maybe like heavy in terms of lyrical content, but not in terms of the sound. So. Yeah, I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I'd kind of say the volume of metal and rock bands in Stoke I'd say I've been involved in the music scene for about 12 years now. It's definitely dropped, but I'd say the quality's increased. Okay. So that's what I'd say. Like, there's definitely less than there were 12 years ago. Yeah. But the quality of the metal bands coming up it's a lot better than what it used to be, I'd say. But again, like, I've grown up, so I don't know if it's just my perception on it. But
yeah, totally. I mean, I always think about, because there was, I mean, the massive, I mean, Sworn to Oath were massive at one point. They were like classic rock. I remember having a CD from Classic Rock, and it had one of their tracks on it. Defenders of the Faith, I think it was, or something like back in the day. And like, and you think, oh my god, that's three lads from Stoke. I could do anything. You know what I mean? Like, and then what was that? There was a band when we were in college that were starting to make it big, and they had like a really weird name. I don't know, but I get the feeling that a lot of bands that start making it in Stoke tend to move, or don't stay here for long because
Well, a big example of a non-heavy band from Stoke that say, and will continue to say that they're not from Stoke, are Pale Waves.
Pale Waves, yeah. Didn't they support Muse or something?
Yeah, supported Muse on the tour.
Yeah. They're massive now.
Played on Seth Meyers in America, played in Madison Square Garden, played Leeds, played Glastonbury. Dead nice people, like.
Yeah. Did they used to rehearse here?
Yeah, they used to have their own lock-up space here. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I know they're not from Manchester solely, but I know why they say they're from Manchester. It's a bit not great for Stoke, but again, the doors that being a Manchester band opens is probably better than the ones that they are in Stoke, because you've got Manchester introducing and stuff like that. It's just a hub. It's a big city.
It is, but I mean, I've moved there. I live there, so I get it, and it's one of those things where, is it bad for Stoke, or is Stoke bad for Pale Waves?
That's a very good question.
Yeah, like, you know, would they necessarily have made it if they hadn't declared themselves Mancunians?
I really don't think it's helped them as much as, because it must have been driven by like management or PR or whatever. You know, someone said, "Oh, it'd be better if we say you're from Manchester."
Yeah,
but I'm not really sure that it's actually made that much difference in the real world. Like, I can't imagine some promoter gets a demo on his desk, or, you know, in his email.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Old.
Yeah. A cassette desk.
Back in my day. Oh, thanks for that.
It's alright, mate. Tom's old, by the way. Just for
Very old.
Super old.
Yeah, super
50s.
Yeah, like, he's going grey.
Oh, cheers, yeah.
In his mane, his
Yeah.
Aslan.
Grey.
Yeah. Sorry, Tom, go on.
You're
But
making a
I
very
can't
good
imagine someone turning down a band
Yeah.
because it says they're from Stoke-On-Trent,
Mm.
or giving a gig to a band,
Yeah.
or a deal to a band because it says they're from Manchester. I don't think that really happens. But
do you
I
think-
can understand why people have this strange perception that it might be true, and I guess their management or whoever has bought into that and said, yeah, you're a Manchester band, because, you know, there's a big history. There was a massive scene like all throughout the 90s, and I think they're doing that kind of, it's like a modern version of Britpop,
Right, okay.
and, you know, all that history is in Manchester, so why not?
Yeah, and also I think it's also maybe a case of like, I don't necessarily. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's probably an exec who's got their album and been like, I'd listen to it if they were from Manchester, or maybe says to them, you guys should say you're from Manchester. I think it's probably more of a case of they thought, because there's arguably a bigger music scene in Manchester. I mean, definitely there is like a bigger gig culture in Manchester, so maybe they just felt like they should be a part of that, as opposed to. So it's the big fish, little pond thing, isn't it? Like, you know, they're a huge fish in Stokes Pond, whereas if they get into Manchester and become even like a medium-sized fish, you're going to do better, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Well,
a bigger scene.
There's the other argument to it as well. If you are a band in Stoke playing a show in Manchester, you'll find it harder to get a gig in Manchester, normally because of ticket sales. If you run a venue in Manchester, not all venues do this, I know, but from my experience as well, if you're going to ask to play a show in Manchester, they're going to say you've got no following in Manchester.
Yeah.
But if you're based in Manchester, even if you're not technically based in Manchester, they're going to check your social media. Oh, these are a Manchester-based band. They can sell more tickets or come on our local shows. So I guess that's the other side of it. Getting on the bigger shows. Like there was another band that practiced here called Grief, who aren't together now, but they say they're from Manchester, but they're from all over the country. Their first proper show was with Dream State in Manchester at the Deaf Institute. And because they're a local band to Manchester, and you know, I mean, that's probably not the sole reason, but it definitely helps, I think.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, because I was thinking about, because obviously I was in, you'll remember this, the good old days. I was in Moral Panics.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I remember I joined them in like the summer of like 2011, I think, and I remember we did our first gig in August of 2011. I remember it was at the Sugar Mill, sold out. There were kids lining up down the block, you know, just all these kids, and I was like, oh my god, this band must be going somewhere because they've got so many fans and stuff. Then we played a gig in Manchester like a month later, and 5 or 6 people turn up.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where not only was it because they had a fan base in Stoke, but also all those kids, because then we played the Sugar Mill, the same place, same level of headlining or whatever, like that Christmas, and hardly anyone came. And it's because all those kids went to uni or went to work or whatever. Like they weren't at college anymore. You know, that it's so difficult to even think of like, how do you grow a fan base or something outside of your hometown? You know, it's hard enough to grow a fan base in your own town, you know, and that's why you resort to inviting all your friends from school.
Well, I know it's your podcast, but can I ask you a question?
Please.
Why do you think less people are going to gigs now, like with that being the case?
Well, I have a couple of answers to that. My first answer would be that with the advent of things like social media, Facebook, YouTube, blah, 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 all that kind of crap. I mean, you see the amount of people in Japan, for example, who have now become so reclusive that they don't even leave the house. Everything can be delivered to them, so they never leave the house anyway. So I think it's a couple of things. I think less people go to events generally, and then also it just doesn't seem like the culture. It doesn't seem like the thing to do. The thing to do now isn't to just go out to a gig that night. The thing is to like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like that. I know, and there are nights out in Manchester and stuff. But if I was planning a night out in Manchester, I'm not sure it would include a specific gig. It would be like go to these different bars, kind of thing. So I think it's cultural, but I also think it's like, why would I go watch a band if I could watch a whole live concert of theirs on YouTube for free? And that's sad because people will argue and people make the argument and people make the argument. I agree with the argument. You see stuff, you see live videos, and you go, I want to go see that. But then when you get there, people are videoing it, and it's expensive, and it's I don't know. And some gigs. The thing is, though, some concerts and gigs I've been to have been like some of the best moments of my life. And I wouldn't change those experiences for the world. But I can see why less people want to invest in it. I'm a musician. Like my entire career is based around music, so of course I give more of a crap about that kind of thing. But Joe blogs on the street, I don't know. And you can stream music so cheaply now as well. Like you don't have to buy albums. You can just go on Spotify and listen to whatever you want. So that's my. What would be your answer to that question?
It's a tough one. Like I think about it a lot. Like I remember. Again, back in my day, like when I was 14, I was going to gigs, 2-3 gigs a week, like getting the buzz up Anley Duck, and going to the Underground, going to the Sugar Mill, even going to Newcastle, to the Full Moon, Brown Jug, watching bands. And I don't know, like I don't enjoy going to gigs as much as I used to. I wish I knew why. I think it's because when I'm working here, I'm surrounded by music all the time, and when I'm off from work, I like to get away from it a bit. Yeah. Bit of a cop-out answer, maybe. I don't know. Like, but when I do go to gigs, I enjoy them. Like, I was involved in the judging for Metal to the Masses for Bloodstock, as Tom was as well, and
awesome.
I love them gigs.
Yeah.
I said to myself, I'm going to go to more gigs, but then, again, working here, though, often, I'd say about 70-80% of the time, I am working when there's gigs on, and that's why don't go to as many as well. Yeah. I think anyone can make a list of excuses. I just think people have become lazier.
Let's hear Tom's answer. Go on, Tom. What do you think?
I don't know. I think there are plenty of scenes where people go to gigs, and if you tap into those scenes, the gigs are packed out. Everyone's having a great time. But it just so happens that, like, the original metal bands or whatever from Stoke haven't really got much of a scene at the minute. And maybe, tastes change and people move on. But, like, I've been gigging for too long.
50 years.
A long industrialist career.
It's always been up and down. Like we've done that, sold out the Sugar Mill and then gone to play in Manchester to like no one. Like one time, literally no one. Like the sound man watched the first song and went off to the bar upstairs and we played to an empty room.
Where was that at?
Ruby Lounge, I think, maybe.
Okay.
You'd have to ask Steve. I'm not sure. But and all sorts. And now I'm playing in a band that does really well. Yeah. And we'd never played to an empty room ever.
How often do you play in Stoke though?
I don't know, maybe like 6 times a year.
Right. Okay.
Something like that. You can't oversaturate it because no one's going to keep on.
No, yeah, totally agree with that. Maybe that's another problem as well. Like the bands local bands, not all of them, they do play the town like every month, if not more. And I guess that would be another reason why people don't go to their gigs all the time, because what's the point?
Well, people don't know how to stretch out, and people are scared of like networking, and I mean that's the greater impact of social networking and like the internet is like people don't really form relationships and talk to each other. Yeah. And that's how a scene's created. So like the scene that I'm playing on is all older people because I'm so old. But it's a great scene and the gigs are all packed, and so I do think the younger bands depending on the personalities involved, struggle to sort of network out beyond their own city. And so they're never moving beyond Stoke, and then it fizzles out in a couple of years. But I wouldn't. I mean, there are less people going to gigs. That's a fact, isn't it? I think.
I think so, yeah. But then what's interesting though is, just as a side point, is like less people will go and pay £4 to go see some local bands at the Sugar Mill.
It's £5 now.
£5, okay. Sorry, I've not been in the Stoke scene for a little bit. But yeah, so like a £5. So okay, even say like in Manchester, say like a £10 or £15 to go see some local bands or whatever. But you'll pay £200 to go see the Spice Girls. Like what?
I'm the same. Like I've just bought tickets for Slipknot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they come to Manchester.
But I don't have a problem with I'm going to Birmingham because
of course you are.
Home of heavy metal, But I think that people do complain. Believe it or not, people do complain that the price of local gigs has gone up from £4 to £5. People do complain about that. And
no way.
Honestly, like I'm like, why are you complaining? Like the bands get paid more, the venue makes more money. It can keep happening.
Yeah.
Like I'm not one of the guys, sorry, that would not pay a £5 to go to see a local gig, but would pay whatever it is to go see Slipknot. But there are people who, like you say, they would pay £200 to go see Spice Girls, but they wouldn't spend a £5 to go see the Mates Band play at a
But
small
why would they
venue.
want to see the Mates Band? They're Spice Girls fans. No one's doing a Spice Girls tribute, are they?
That you know of?
Well, there might be a Spice Girls
I was going to say they're
tribute,
definitely probably Spice Girls
Yeah.
tributes. But at the same time,
My band,
Should we get tickets?
Spice Boys.
Spice Boys. Oh my god, could you imagine doing a Spice Boys tribute band? The amount of backlash you would get.
You heard it here first. Spice Boys.
We are the Spice Boys.
Which one are you, mate?
Yeah, you're
Ginger Spice.
Set you up, man.
who are you then? You're
Spice.
posh. No.
I'm posh.
Old Spice. The
Wait,
deodorant.
no, I'm not posh. Oh no, I'm posh.
How many
no.
horses?
Oh my god, I want to be baby or scary.
You're definitely Posh Spice.
Oh, for God's
You got a
sake.
swim
for
pool.
sure.
I'm not-
Posh
no, I
Spice.
don't though, do I? My
Yeah,
parents do.
well,
It's
yeah.
different. It's
Got
like
a swimming pool, mate.
Can we just Old Spice? The body spray.
oh yeah,
Old
yeah,
Spice.
you're Old Spice. Oh, we could come up with new spices. So we've got Old Spice, Five Spice, and then I'll be like
Posh
paprika.
Spice.
What? Why is that the only name that stays on?
I don't know.
Oh my god! Even though I'm from Stoke, no one ever thinks I'm from Stoke.
From Stoke.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't sound
The
Stoke.
majestic sloth.
Yeah, it's like not unless I get angry. If I start getting angry, then I get.
You don't get angry.
Oh no, I don't, not very often. But when I do, I shouted at a guy in a car park earlier today.
That's very rude.
I was driving back from Manchester, so Amy's in the car and we had to do the cat, we also brought the cat home with us, and she was doing something with the cat in the back. And we
Got
had
a cat.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tom's excited now.
yeah, I've got, it's Amy's family cat,
Right.
and so he's like 15.
Oh,
So we're looking
Awesome.
after him sort of
What's
in
his
his
name?
Merlin.
that's a great name.
He's a Berman.
Does it have beard?
Have you got a photo?
Kind of. Oh, have I got a photo of... Yeah. Where's my phone?
It's
Oh.
alright. It can wait, man.
Yeah, it can wait. I'll show you a picture of my cat in a bit.
I can't wait.
But basically, we brought him back with us because he's going to stay at Amy's mum's for a little bit. And she was sorting him out in the back, and I'm sat there in the car, and we're about to leave, and this guy, like, in this massive BMW, just like pulls in front of us, and then sees there's a space there, and he goes back, and there's two spaces next to each other, and he pulls in. And he like look, and then he's like, okay, I'm not in it. And he comes out and he pulls, and he's like almost still in the middle of the two spaces. And he opens his door, and I'm like, oh, he must be checking to see how far of the line he is. What crane? And he just gets out of his car and walks off.
Yeah,
So I rolled down my
classic.
window and I was like, oi mate, park in a space like that. And he just completely ignored me and
He
kept
drives
walking.
a BMW.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Like, hot take.
Gone.
People who drive BMWs, just not nice people.
Well,
Sorry to your dad.
My dad drives a BMW.
I was going to say,
But,
Amy's
with your
dad
father
also
at the
drives a
exception.
BMW.
Sorry, Mr. Amy's dad,
Andy.
Andrew.
Oh, my dad's name is Andrew. He
Oh.
drives a BMW.
People who drive BMWs
Called Andrew.
are called Andrew.
Yeah, that's what we feel like.
Charles' mum's boyfriend is called Andrew. He drives a BMW.
Oh my god.
Trend.
Maybe this is the thing.
Is he a nice person?
Yeah, he is
Brilliant.
a very nice person.
Brilliant.
Is he going to be watching and listening?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think. I think it's more just the. I don't know even know if it's BMWs. I think it's more the case of like a big gas guzzly car.
No, it's people who've spent way too much money on the car and they don't want someone else opening their door into their car.
Yeah, right.
And they think they've spent 70 grand on a car, so they deserve not to get the car scratched.
Or just like they just don't care. They just don't even think.
No, they're definitely thinking that.
Oh, do you think?
Yeah, I've spoken to a couple of these people.
Have you really?
Mm-hmm.
If someone parks over 2 spaces, would you be okay with it if they bought 2 tickets to park with? I would be.
Such a capitalist.
I don't know. I'm halfway between. I think you're like no, everyone gets one. You're like buy everything.
He's sympathising. He's like, oh, they don't want the car to get scratched.
No, yeah.
I'm not sympathetic. I'm explaining their point of view.
Yeah, exactly. Defending them.
If your car's too big for one space, fair enough. Buy 2 tickets, whatever.
Yeah.
You
know what?
It's just annoying if you're trying to park.
Mm.
There's no parking spaces left, and some person is parked with a 70 grand vehicle halfway between 2 spaces. It's not on.
Inconsiderate.
It is inconsiderate.
It is a bit inconsiderate, isn't it? I mean, it's definitely very. I don't shout at people.
The first day I had my Jeep, I did that.
What, you parked in between 2?
Yeah.
What, really?
Was it so that people wouldn't open the doors into your car? You didn't want it scratched?
No, I just misjudged it and then just left it there. I misjudged it by half a space. Half a space.
That's terrible.
And you just left it there?
Give up your license, man.
I was running into the shop.
Stop
and
driving.
Did you see, there was a video I saw on Facebook yesterday, or maybe the day before, of basically this bloke and his girlfriend had parked in a disabled spot. And then but the video has, it's weird because then these two like sort of like middle-aged women, I guess, started like attacking them. So as they started to get back in the car, they were like attacking them, and one of those women was like slapping this girl and like hitting her, and getting really aggressive with them. And people were being like, "No, leave them alone." Like, yeah, they've done a bad thing, but like
they might not have done.
Well, yeah, and it's a weird. It's one of those weird videos where you're watching it and you're like, I think I know what side I'm on, but
what side are you on?
I don't want people parking in disabled parking spaces who aren't disabled.
Yeah, but they could be disabled. Just because someone walks out of the car doesn't mean they're not disabled.
No, true, but the blue badge thing.
Yeah, you might forget your blue badge.
Okay,
you might have,
admittedly, but I think
car.
the thing is these were 2 younger, healthy people.
You can't tell. By
I know. You totally can't. I guess. Yeah. No. Okay. You totally can't. That's true. But here's another one. So I watched a video of a cyclist in London, and because there's like loads of people who have like.
I feel like I know what video you're on about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he's cycling with his mates across one of the bridges in London, and he's cycling in between all this traffic, doing all these wheelies and stuff, and it's just like. Cool, looks kind of cool. You kind of like, you're going through red lights on traffic lights and stuff. That's one of my biggest peeves when you see cyclists go through red lights. I've shouted at people. I've been like, the red light's for you.
I thought you never shouted.
Yeah, you've shouted at a lot of people.
I know, it's Manchester. It's turning me into this weird city-dwelling evil person.
Yeah, you need to come back to Stoke, man.
I
Chill
know.
out.
I need to see some fields, see some bottle kilns.
Get
But
back
anyways.
to the pool. The ponies.
Okay, great. I actually, I went to see my mum and dad, and the last thing that happened as I was driving away was the horse like peered his face into my car, and I gave him like a mint, and that's the last thing I did at my house before I came out here.
Posh Spice.
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely Posh Spice. I feel like I'm not even gonna fight it now. But this video, so he's doing all these wheelies, and then there's this one moment where he's doing a wheelie and he comes down from the wheelie, and then a car gets too close to him, and he like fumbles, and then this car runs over his front wheel, and his front wheel gets stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and the cyclist is like trying to pull us, and he's like swearing at the guy, and all of his mates are like crowding around the car, like squaring up to this guy, and they're like, move your car, they're calling him names, like they're getting up at him, like this, like hitting his car and stuff. And then eventually he gets out of it, and he says like, whatever, like dickhead drivers, like that kind of thing, and like drives, and then the end of the video is like, hey, like and subscribe, and it's like, obviously not that traumatized, your bike still works, you're fine, calm down. But I don't know what side I'm on, because part of me's like, don't run over folks' bikes, obviously, but then another part of me's like, these people are weaving in and out of traffic, and it's like, and then also the aggression that comes from that thing where it's like, okay, yeah, they've done something wrong, but like,
That's the problem, isn't it?
yeah, totally.
Someone having fun on his bike, fine. Someone driving, maybe it was the driver's fault, maybe it was the cyclist's fault, whatever.
I think it was a bit of both.
But like, all you have to do is say, Sorry about that, mate. Oh, your bike still works.
Give me 2 secs.
Sure.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Yep. Oh,
Anthony's just going to leave the podcast for a second.
See you in a bit, mate.
Bye, babe. Bye, babe. Yeah. Okay, that was a loud noise. Just for reference, Anthony has like a baby on the way, so he's.
Oh my god.
What?
Wouldn't it be awesome if she's just gone into labour?
That'd be crazy. So is she in labour?
No.
What was the call about
Just
it?
checking if I was home.
Oh. Well, you are home. You live in the Riff Factory recording.
Can we just say I answered that very fast?
Yeah, you know what, Charlotte, if you're watching, no hesitation. He was like, I know I'm on camera. I know I'm being recorded. I got to go and talk to my wife.
I just want to get away from this.
Wow. This toxic masculine environment.
That was a deep stare.
Yeah, that was scary. For those who are only listening on the podcast, Anthony gave us a look. One of those looks, you know.
No, they don't know. No one knows that look.
Yeah, it's a very specific look to Anthony. To Hulme, as we used to call him back in the day.
To Hulme?
Yeah, because he's Anthony Hulme.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was an offensive joke about
My
his
weight.
width.
Well, when I used to play rugby and I had the ball and I ran into people, they call it the Hummer Run.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Then the nickname, I kind of let it fizzle out because I found out that Hummer also has another meaning.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Is it a kind of bird or insect?
It's just another meaning. You just Google it after the podcast.
I'll Google it now.
Oh,
Everybody,
yeah, I think I'll Google it now.
This is good stuff. This is good
Is this a
broadcasting.
family friendly?
Definitely not. So
Okay, don't read it out. Just show it to me. I will decide how podcast friendly it is.
is this
What do I need,
podcast
mate?
family
With
friendly?
dictionary.
I don't know.
Because I've already cursed once.
I have cursed. So I think the podcast. I don't know. I think
just
it's.
checking even.
I might bleep out the curses, but.
Ah,
Oh my god.
I see.
Can I too see to see if it's the same? Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Hulme slang.
Okay. We'll move
See.
swiftly.
See why
Fair enough. Let's move swiftly on. This
What?
What?
Sorry to interrupt. One of the
Please.
possible definitions is a very energetic or lively person, a powerful, lively thing. So I think that fits.
That fits you. You're powerful.
perfectly. Yep. And energetic and lively.
so much energy
So,
all the time.
do you remember the first time we ever met?
Yes, I do. And you are still saved in my phone from this story.
Oh right,
What's
yeah.
that name?
So we both know someone who invited us to an 18th birthday party. Was it her 18th or was it 17th? I feel like it was the 17th.
It might have even been 16th. I feel it was before 18th.
The only reason I think it's 17 is because I was in year 12 at the time and so she. So I think it would have been her becoming 17.
I feel like it would have been 16th because I just think it would have been 16.
All right. Okay, that was a good. Okay, great. What's happening? What's going on?
Nothing, mate.
Well, all I remember, I knew this person from marching band. So I was like super lame way of knowing this person.
What did you play?
Saxophone.
Oh, nice.
Not even drums.
You played the sax?
Yeah, not very well.
Cool.
But I can, and I did at the time, and yeah, It was like you know the Longson Methodist Hall in Longson. It was that youth wind band, so it's like a church youth wind band. I'm not even Methodist.
That's where I recorded a choir the other month.
That's where it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really great space, to be fair.
It's a terrible sounding room though.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, last time I was in there, I was like 14, 15.
Is that why the guy fainted?
A guy fainted.
Yeah, kind of. Right, come on.
Anyway,
carry the story.
so yeah, and then so I knew her from that, and then to her birthday, and she knew you guys from school, and you guys were all there like metalheads, and I was like, oh, who are these guys?
Stereotyping, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean you were. Like,
Did he have spiky hair?
Yeah.
you did!
It
Oh
looked-
my
it-
god!
It looked like a wig. It was terrible.
It was so crazy.
I
Yeah.
actually really liked it.
You look like an anime character.
Yeah, like, you know, respect to one of my friends who was the only friend who told me that my hair looked silly.
Who was it?
That was Ross.
Shout out to Ross.
Shout out to Ross, yeah.
Ross
like,
Mountford. Of the Ross.
I
Of
like
the
my
Longton
hair.
Massive.
He told me it was silly. Didn't really like it at the time, but looking back on it, Good on him for being honest with me.
At least he had the balls to say
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
Yeah, I remember you were like, oh, you play drums, like trying to size me up, and you were like, can you blast beat? And I was like, I think so. And you were like, cool. And that was like our whole first interaction.
I didn't even know what a blast beat was. I was just
and then I ate like a 15-inch pizza or something, like a whole pizza.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I was pretty fat at the time.
What kind of pizza?
Barbecue meatball, Frankie Benny's.
Jesus.
Yeah, okay. At the time you were like 74, so like your
grown
tastes
up
were
since
different
then.
to mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
back in my day.
back in my day,
We didn't have barbecue on pizzas. We didn't have pizzas.
it was rationing. Like how you're looking at a non-existent watch.
You got that, did you?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I enjoyed
Checking how
mine.
wrinkly his old skin was.
Dude,
What?
there's nothing wrinkly here.
A little bit around the face.
This is getting wildly off track.
So
yeah.
Eden ate a pizza.
When do you think was the first time you and I met, Tom? Because we met obviously at Ant's wedding.
Whoa. We missed out
Oh,
what I
what?
called you in my phone.
In your phone, I'm Eden the pizza destroyer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he destroyed the pizza.
I did destroy
Yes,
the pizza.
but looking back on it, it wasn't that big of a deal.
No,
Yeah.
I've done better since.
Yeah, same. I could do that right now.
Yeah.
When you say better, do you
Yes.
mean you've ordered a better pizza?
Or I've eaten more volume of food.
Ooh. Favorite pizza toppings?
Go on.
I quite like peppers, onions, and chilies. Just no meat. I don't like meat.
Yeah,
on
you know
pizzas
what?
anymore.
There's a great pizza place in Manchester called Rudy's, and I had a pizza just like. In fact, I had a pizza there with no cheese on,
Ooh.
Oh, no.
No.
It's not a pizza.
but it was really nice.
It's a flatbread.
It's a sandwich without a top.
That delivery was very good. You should have said a sandwich without a hat. That's what you should have said. That would have been
Without
better.
its hat on. I can't eat this. It was really nice. It was really good. It was a really tasty pizza.
It wasn't a pizza, mate.
It was a flatbread.
I have to say though, if I had the choice, I do like all the meats, like ground beef, bacon, pepperoni, sausage, meatballs, even. Yeah. What about you? I love red onion. I have to have red onion.
Red
pizza.
onion.
I love red onion pizza.
Mm.
Go on, Tom.
Red onion, peppers, chili flakes. I wouldn't put jalapenos on there.
It was Tom's
Personally.
homemade pizza that changed my ideology behind pizza.
Why haven't you made me homemade pizza?
I only make it like sort of 2 or 3 times a year,
Yeah.
and
I feel like I've known you longer than I though.
yeah.
So that's been 2 or 3 opportunities for you to make me homemade pizza.
Well, I recently I only get like 5 pizzas out of a dough. Mate, let's arrange a pizza night then.
Sick.
Don't make me feel guilty.
It's just he's always busy gigging with Headsticks.
Oh, Headsticks. Yeah, they are a big band. They are.
Played at Rock City.
They're fairly big.
Yeah, they are actually. Yeah, I'm not even. That's the best thing about this.
Yeah.
Is like we're not even lying.
I know he just thinks we're always taking the mic.
Yeah. But we're not.
We're not. He just thinks we are.
Yeah. You're very suspiciously minded. You'd make a good spy.
I actually wanted to be a spy when I was a kid. growing up.
Really?
Yeah, that was my dream job.
What kind of spy though? Because there's a couple of different types. Because everyone thinks it's like James Bond, but it's like, what inspired you to be a spy?
James Bond.
Like Man
Bored,
from
mate.
Uncle.
Oh, the man from Uncle. Oh, right, that stuff. Oh, you are old. I remember watching the original Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy in theatres, and it really changed my life.
I don't sound anything like that, man. That's a really bad impression.
Okay, let me do an impression of you. I'm Tom.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You need to put
terrible.
the age
Say
into the
something
voice
else.
a bit.
Say something else. Give me a sample sentence.
My pizza is the most delicious pizza in Forsbrook.
My pizza is the most delicious pizza in Forsbrook.
That was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Can I try?
Go on.
My pizza.
What's funny is like, I saw that come in like a mile off, and it still made me explode with laughter. That's what I love about that. I love it. This brings me on to an interesting question though. Like, what? Because all 3 of our jobs, how indirectly as possible, is like revolved completely around music. You were in a rehearsal room. You were in a recording studio. You guys also play in bands. What was like? Do you even remember like a moment in your life where you were like, "It's music"?
Yeah.
Really?
I do.
Go on.
Yeah.
What's your memory?
Year 10, high school, I took music technology as an option because I couldn't decide on another option.
Right.
I think it was about a month into it, so it would have been October.
Yeah.
We had to
Around your birthday.
around my birthday. Thank you, Eden.
Sorry, mate.
Um,
Do you remember that time I came? Sorry, just real quickly. Do you remember that time I came to watch you guys play in Heavy as Balls?
no, I don't know that. We're not in Heavy as Balls.
Who are those guys?
I don't even. Okay, so do you remember that time I came to see you guys at a gig at the Sugar Mill?
Yeah,
It was
we
near your
saw you
birthday.
there. Yeah, we weren't playing.
Yeah,
there.
you know, you weren't playing. You were just there, and I bought you a birthday Terry's chocolate orange.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah,
It was
that would have been before you got married, so we would have maybe briefly met then.
He was probably battered.
First time we met was in the studio upstairs, for sure. You were doing some recording with him, weren't you?
Oh, was it the drum covers? On
Yeah,
New
it
Year?
could've
No,
been
because that was New Year's Day.
Yeah, it was like
New
New Year's
Year's
Day,
Eve.
New Year's Eve, like 2014 or 2013,
There
2013,
was
14.
something you were
14.
working on upstairs.
Maybe it was because I brought a band back from uni once.
Oh, it could have been that.
Yeah.
I can't remember. The
Salino.
name. Yes.
Yeah, because we came and recorded over Easter time. So
Yeah,
that was
it would
Easter
have been then,
2014.
Could have been that.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So I just remember we had to compose something on Cubase. Cubase VST5, like not
Yeah.
even the proper Cubase, like the basic.
Ellie.
No,
LE.
it was before Ali.
Oh.
right,
Like
okay.
it was terrible, but
Yeah.
like I just remember like doing that and just enjoying it a lot. And then we had to learn how to like go into the studio and mix stuff. And I was like, I don't even play an instrument. Like
Still don't.
I was in a band with Eden. It was terrible, and
It was good, and you know it was good.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and that's when I picked up a guitar for the first time. So I would have been 14,
15,
15, and that's kind of. I mean, it wouldn't reflect now that I've played guitar for over 10 years, like at all. But yeah, that's the moment I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I used to want to run like a full studio. And be into recording and everything. I am into recording.
Yeah. I mean, we recorded with you when I brought the band back from uni. We recorded in your studio.
I've definitely got better. Like I'm self-taught, really. Like, no offense to the teachers at Blythe if any of you see this, but you were not helpful. Like I did teach myself, and Tom. I didn't teach myself. Tom taught me everything that I know, and I used to love recording. I'm not saying I don't anymore. I just don't enjoy it as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy it, and I love working with bands. It's not the recording that I enjoy; it's working with bands that I enjoy.
Yeah, totally.
And honestly, like by sheer luck, is that words? By pure luck, it's the fact that I'm in this now because I had to take an option because I had no other choices, and now I run part of Riff Factory.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's great, and I do remember it, and I'll always remember it. Like,
I remember it was very similar because I took GCSE music because I wanted to do IT, but I couldn't do the IT option I did unless I took music as well, or like some sort of or music or art or something. It's like, I'll do music then. And I remember telling my teacher, Derek, who's now a great friend of mine and a lovely guy, but like I told him, I was like, I'm going to do music GCSE, and he was like, oh, okay. Like it was like, and I was like, oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm super excited to see you next year, bud. You know, like it was proper like, oh god, what am I doing? And then all of a sudden it was like, it wasn't Cubase for me, that was Sibelius. Like I got onto Sibelius and I was like, this is mint.
Yeah.
I can make music. This is great. So I used to get there before, because my mum was a nurse, so I'd get to school really early, like before 8:30, and like be there sat just in the computer room for like an hour, just like composing stuff.
Sibelius is cool, man.
I love Sibelius. People hate it, but I love it.
That was another thing we did, Cubase and Sibelius, definitely. Yeah. But again, like, I didn't mention I used to play violin when I was in year 6 and year 7.
Did you?
And so I knew how to roughly read music, and I, until about a month ago, thought I passed my grade 1 violin with a distinction, and I used to tell everyone, I was like, I was like 3 marks off, like full marks. And stuff.
Really?
My dad found my certificate.
Oh my god,
And
it was like just a pass, wasn't it?
This is your exclusive. It was just a pass by 3 marks.
3 marks off failing, not 3
Yeah,
marks
3
off
marks.
fault.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, at least I got part
I
of it
just
right.
love how little Auntie Hume went into school the next day and was like, "Oh, everyone, you won't guess what."
I know it wasn't. This wasn't the next day. This was like now. Like
Up until now.
about 2 months ago, I was like, "Do you play anything else?" I was like, "I used to play the violin. I was like really good at it. I got my grade 1."
Well, how come you quit then if you were that great?
Do you know why I quit? Because people at Blythebridge High School were horrible and made me feel like rubbish for playing the violin.
Really?
And
Did they
guitar
do that to
school,
the people who were good at violin?
yeah.
I thought there was quite a good music sort of thing at
Yeah,
Blythe.
but I wasn't part.
Yeah.
I was in year 7.
Yeah,
I wasn't
it was.
really like I guess like year 7. You don't know. I
Yeah,
started getting into like
yeah.
heavier music and stuff, and like
If you, and I guess if the kids who were like coming up to you being like, "Oh, violin, that's nerdy,"
yeah,
you know,
that's what it was. Yeah,
it's
like
not the music kids you were hanging out with. I
It
guess.
was all the like my sister's year. Like my sister was in year 11, and I was in year 7. All her friends used to proper take the mick out of me. and
Really.
I just, I think with my parents being quite into rock music and stuff, I don't think they like me playing the violin.
Really.
I wouldn't say they were unsupportive because my parents have always been really supportive of me, but I think looking back at it, I wish they pushed me into playing like guitar or even piano. Like I'd love to play piano.
Yeah.
But
I would as I would call myself a composer. It's really difficult because it's like I wish I could just play what I'm thinking.
yeah,
And it's like I can't. And like you can compose rhythms on drums, but like not the same. What do you have a memory of like being like, yeah, music?
just take a moment. I know it was a long time ago.
Yeah. Make your way through the clouds and find.
No, I always thought it was going to be a hobby.
Really.
But I don't know why I decided to. Well, I got an opportunity to go and do a fairly decent IT job
Yeah.
out of the country for a load of money, and I was thinking about, shall I do this or not? And all I was bothered about was the bands I was leaving and the projects
Right.
I was leaving unfinished. Like, because I've always recorded, and I thought, oh, well, maybe if I'm not going to do that, I should do a recording studio. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, totally. That's really interesting. Like I said this. I had some friends over last night, and I was talking to them about jobs and stuff. And I was like saying like because recently I've entered like some composition competitions and like not got through to the second round or anything.
Do they call them compositions? It was better in my head.
Yeah.
Like compositions
Yeah.
and competitions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because funnily enough, that word mixed together is compositions. So, do you want to have another swing and a miss, or
I'm out.
can I carry on? So
Competitions.
that was a perfectly reasonable.
That was the word in my head.
Yeah.
I just couldn't say it.
Yeah. So I've entered a couple of competitions and not even got through to the second round. And I'm thinking, wait, I've got into the master's course. How am I not winning these things? And it's like kind of heartbreaking, and stuff like that. And I've been in bands that have like folded, and like the amount of times being in music will slap me in the face. I can't ever imagine doing anything else.
It's a very volatile industry.
Oh god, yeah, and not even from a case of like, not even just from money, but also just like emotional.
Yeah.
Like I remember being in bands and just like I got. So do you remember Snake Eyes Johnny?
I do remember Snake Eyes.
Yeah, I was in Snake Eyes Johnny. Yeah, it's a good name.
Yeah, no, I thought maybe it was your pet name for something. Sorry, mate.
Eyes Johnny. It was a great. They were good. They were like garage band, kind of like rock and roll and whatever. Not rock and roll, like grungy rock, I guess. And they were alright, but I basically prioritized a different band. I think it was Cities That Sleep. I prioritized a recording session of theirs over a rehearsal of just Snake Eyes Johnny. And they fired me in a weird way, whereby they didn't fire me. They contacted my drum teacher to see if he knew anyone who could replace me before they told me anything. And I found that out because my drum teacher the next lesson was like, "Hey, your band contacted me. I think they're looking for a new drummer. Have you quit?" And I was like, "No."
You have now.
Well, yeah. And so I texted the guy and I was like, "What happened to this?" And he was like, "Yeah, I just feel like you've not been giving it 100%. So we're just gonna fire you." And I was like, "Okay, bye. Thanks for all the fish, but I'm out." And what's hilarious is their next drummer got them banned from like the Underground and the Sugar Mill for fighting people. So I never have that problem.
Just
The fact they were paying you in
Yeah,
fish is like
fish.
a big clue.
So,
what are we talking? Salmon.
we're premium Alaskan salmon.
That's
Like
pretty good.
yeah, it's alright actually. Some
Do
pretty.
you ever get anything special, like a bit of bass or?
It's bass special.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know fish that well.
Well, you can turn bass on its side and play it.
A cello. You got a bass. Oh my god. But what I mean to say is, like, even when that happened, oh my god, Tom is gone.
Are you okay?
You alright, mate? He's just thinking about the war.
I'm supposed to not swear, man.
I've sworn, it's fine.
You can just beep it out.
Yeah, I'll just beep it out. I had an idea with my vloggy stuff to bleep out swear words with like an orchestral like flourish.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought like how yeah, like just like a
Some jazz flute.
some jazz flute. Oh my god, I actually played in a jazz flute recital the other day. So it was
On flute.
no, on drums.
Ah.
But there was a flautist. The flaut is a girl I knew from uni. She's a few years below me, but she's just finished her masters, and she did a recital, and it was like a couple of classical pieces that she did, and then we did this jazz suite for flute, guitar, and jazz trio, and it's so weird. It was great. It was like so weird because it like hearing jazz flute, and I was like in my head all I could see was Anchorman.
Yeah, man.
Do you remember watching Anchorman on my birthday?
Yes.
Yeah, and you guys hated it. You hated it so
No.
much. Yeah, I just got into it, and I was like, guys, we should watch this movie.
Well, you were just ahead of the time. That's what it was.
I don't know. I know because I got into it late, but at the same time, I remember you guys being like, it's not funny. I was like,
Anchorman's a film.
yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Films
Just
are
checking.
moving pictures.
Yeah, just
So I mean, what would you I mean, it might be a bit of a hard question to answer because you might not like answering it, but like, do you think you have like your biggest heartbreak in terms of music? Like what you thought was like the moment where you were like nearly left it, or not even nearly left it, but just made you think.
I've got one.
Go on.
Probably shouldn't be saying it, but when I got sued for a lot of money by a guy that ran a rival studio to me, was
Yeah.
the time that I pretty much did give up on everything.
Yeah.
I haven't.
No. Good.
I came through on the other side. I acted as professional as I could about it, and
You did, to be fair. When I spoke to you, yeah.
I'm here now and better than ever, you know, and I feel like it took that to make me realise what I had. And I don't talk about it because it wasn't a very good place for me when it all happened.
I mean, you emotionally, psychologically. I mean,
Yeah,
it was kind of battering. I
It
remember.
was hard, man. It was a very hard year. And
Leading up to your wedding as well.
yeah, it was. Yeah, they all got resolved 2 days after we got married. And it's fine, you know. Like looking back on it, it was rubbish. Like
Yeah.
it was good for business though. I've never been as busy as that.
Really?
When I was getting mentioned on Facebook left, right, and centre, you know, and it was terrible. And that was when I did feel like giving up,
Yeah.
and I lost a lot of spirit and everything for this place. But you come through it on the other side, you know, and I'll give that advice to anyone. Anyone gives you enough shit, bleep that out, please.
Yeah.
Anyone does that, you just take it. You don't lash out back. You just take it. You pick yourself up on the other side, and then you just come out, you know. And
Yeah.
I'm looking back on it. I'm very grateful it all happened because I don't think I'd be here now. I think I would have lost a lot of interest because,
Yeah. Right.
well, well, not theoretically, but you know, like in my head, that could have been the case, and I beat it. And you know, no hard feelings to the guy. It was business, and he was a bit petty at the time, but I kind of get why he did what he did, but I don't care anymore. You know, I'm here, and the studio is doing amazing. Like it is doing amazing. People have still slate us off all the time, saying that we're pretending we're not doing very well, but we are doing really well, and Tom's doing really well. And
Yeah.
it's
Well, yeah,
a
I mean,
community studio, you know. Like
I
we're
mean,
doing
apart from the
alright.
fact that I would consider you guys two very close friends.
We're
I
alright.
think. But I come back here all the time. Like every time I want to do a project, I ask one of you two, and come here because this just has a better vibe than places I could do it in Manchester. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
I
thanks,
think.
man.
Well, yeah, because like I mean, rehearsal. Like, and there are some. I'm probably not going to name names, but there are some rehearsal studios. Like, there's quite a big national one that you probably heard of. I'll tell you off the air. But like, they're so impersonal, and like you like text them to get your code to like get it in and stuff, and it's just really like.
Yeah, it's like buying
Factory
drugs,
farm.
right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Not that I've
Right.
ever done that. In fact, you know what? I haven't. Like, it's really it's like you're goading me into like being like, oh yeah. I've literally never done drugs, so I don't even know where you're coming from.
But it is funny you mentioned that studio. I actually don't know the name, so even if you said it, I wouldn't know.
Right.
But I know people who've practiced there and they think it's amazing and revolutionary. But like,
it's like people who like pure gym. Like, you know,
like,
I don't want to speak to a receptionist. I just want to walk in.
This is like what I was talking about earlier with social media and stuff. Like, people don't want to talk to each other. People don't want to have
interaction.
A real life connection with other people. They just want to like stick their headphones on and get through life. And you know, more and more anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, on the contrary to that.
On the contrary.
I was here an hour after I was due to close the other day, just talking to a band. Like, there was no one else in. I could have gone home, and I was here just talking to them, and it was great. And I said to them like a few times, like, this is ace because no one speaks anymore, and like it was so nice. And they I know they think a lot of me, like, and I think a lot of that band as well. It's Marma, a local band.
Yeah, they're good.
Like, and it was just nice. And 5 years ago, that was like every single band. Don't get me wrong, I speak to like every band that comes in here, and everyone. I've got a good relationship with pretty much everyone, I'd say.
You're like the most personable rehearsal room owner I think I've ever met.
Thanks, man. I just don't like you.
Yeah, why has it never been gifted to me, that personability? Yeah, what's that about?
Not ginger enough.
I am not very ginger. I won't lie to you. I'm pretty.
A little bit. I feel like it's coming through.
Do you think?
Have you had that bleached, by the way?
No, it's just short. Like, because I had like a skin fade.
Yeah, it looks good, man. Sorry. Dope fade.
Dope fade?
A dope fade.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. A dope compliment.
Thanks. Thanks, bro.
A dopamine. Home turn, guys. So, like... I don't know what's going on.
Sorry, I've derailed the conversation.
No. I'm happy with what, like, that with this project. I was saying to Tom earlier, like, what was I saying? I was saying to someone earlier, I like just my favorite podcasts are the ones where we're just chatting, and I like chatting to you guys anyway. We do it anyway. We sit and chat. So sometimes it's nice to have a microphone in front of your face.
Yeah, like every time we hang out, we don't even watch TV. We just talk for hours. Like,
do you remember that time? It was like a few months ago where we were on YouTube, and we were just watching. It was like this is so nerdy. We love Pokemon, and it was like it was all the Pokemon from number 1 to like
television series.
Yeah, it's like cartoon. And
I thought it was a card game.
Oh, it's that as well. It's everything. It's people's goddamn lives. it's everything.
Was it the Pokédex? Like every Pokemon.
Every single Pokemon size, and we were just laughing. We were like bored because like there were some Pokemon that were like big, and we were like, "Here comes a big boy," you know, just laughing at each other. And it was just so funny. And like I feel like I don't know. It's nice to have that.
I feel like I'm really missing out there.
Well, I'm missing out on your goddamn pizza, Tom. Okay.
And had my pizza.
It changed my life. Like I say, if I ever have pizza now, I can't have pizza.
You just think about Tom's pizza.
It's Tom peppers, but a lot of places don't do chili flakes, so I just have chilies. But it's always onions and peppers.
It's better with chili flakes.
Yeah, it is better with chili flakes. Yeah, it's nice, man. It's dough. He's got
a sauce as well.
Yeah,
he nailed it the other day.
He's got a pizza oven.
So good.
You've got a pizza oven.
Yeah, like an electric one, like a massive toaster that goes on the side. Right. It does like 350 degrees, cooks your pizza in like 3 minutes. It's awesome.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
It's just like a wood-fired one.
Yeah,
except, you know, you pay like £5 a pizza on your electricity bill.
It's like a wood fire, but nothing like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Just so everyone knows,
but
I know.
Fight? What?
Yeah.
After.
Oh my god. It's just like in closing remarks.
Already?
Oh, are we done?
What?
I was having a good time.
No, we can keep chat.
Keep it going.
It's fine. No, I've got to go to the pub.
Yeah, I was going to say you're going to the pub to see. We're on like.
Bit rude.
It's 10 to 7.
Oh my god! I said it'd be there at 7.
Well, that's embarrassing.
Let's wrap this up, man.
All right. Okay. Fair. Do you have any?
Just before you give your closing remarks.
Go on.
I know you probably had a list of questions to ask us in your head. How many have you actually asked us out of how many?
I'm not going to lie to you, Anthony. I'm more of an improviser of a human being. So I had like a couple of questions in my head, but I'm more of a like, whatever comes in my head at the time, I'll just ask. You know, so I had like some topics. I wanted to ask you, what?
Jazzer.
I'm a jazz player. And I'm really interested to hear, because you guys are in music and you play music, but also you guys are like music business people. And I think that's interesting because a lot of people who set off to do music when they're at GCSE level or whatever don't think to themselves, oh, I want to pay taxes and do things and have accountancy software and blah blah blah. It's just interesting how you guys have fallen into that. And
a lot of people, I think, when they're at school, they think, if I want to do music, I'm either gonna like make it as a rock star, or I'll have to give up and be an accountant or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's this whole middle ground where you can pick up sessions and bands, function work, and the rest of it, and like you can actually scrape just about a
decent living. Totally.
Well, I don't know about decent, but
you can live.
You can live just fine. You don't have to be a rock star to like get by in music. So
no, and like I said earlier, like it would take a lot. I feel like the people who get into that bracket, because I think there are plenty of rock stars who maybe were like, I didn't even want this really. Like I know, I'm not going to name any names, but I did Panto a couple of years ago, and there was someone from a group who did well on one of those talent shows on TV, and it was like he didn't set out to be a pop star, but now is a pop star. And it's like, it's funny because the ones who make it in that top level bracket of people who make it, there are people who really wanted it and people who were like, but we're just in the right place, right time, wrong time. Yeah. I think that entire middle bracket is only people who can't do anything else. No, and I don't mean can't as in like don't have any other skills, because you're an IT technician. You have another skill that could pay you a lot of money. Like you said, you nearly went abroad. I guess. Yeah,
I'm just a sick guy.
You're just a nice guy.
You're an awesome tram driver, aren't you?
Oh yeah, you used to drive the tram.
No.
Yeah,
the tram.
Oh, monorail.
Monorail.
Stop. Monorail. Non-disclosure agreement. Stop right now.
Monorail.
Monorail. So yeah, but I think that entire middle bracket. Yeah, even though you may have other transferable skills, it's like I don't believe I could ever not do music. Like I remember when I went to uni for the first time, I was saying to my dad, like, are you going to be disappointed because, or should I be doing this because it's like I will never be able to do. I'll always be in that middle bracket. I'll probably not make it, and it's like I'm going to be wasting however much money uni costs, which is a lot, and it's like just for something that I just really enjoy, not something that's necessarily super useful. And he was like, if you were doing a different degree, let's say I went and did philosophy at uni, which is another useless degree. Not that any degrees are useless. It's just a degree that doesn't have a...
Shots fired.
No, I would have done philosophy maybe, but like, okay, let's talk about engineering. So if you do an engineering degree, you're going to become an engineer, right? If I'd have gone and done an engineering degree, I'm not smart enough to, but let's say I had, I'd still be doing music. I'd still be sat in my room composing stuff. I'd still be trying to play gigs, and I would get bad grades because of it, because I'd be thinking about music.
Yeah.
Might as well do the thing you enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think there are some kids in the world who need to hear that. I think there are some younger people that need to hear that.
I didn't go to uni. Like that's the thing. Like I'm doing all right for myself.
Yeah.
Like I quit college because I hated it. Like I just was fed up of being told what to do by people who didn't have any respect for me, and I had no respect for them because.
Why would you?
Exactly, and. I've done this with the help from Tom. Like,
yeah.
He knows I'll always be grateful
and
to
other
him.
people,
Yeah, but in other people, like lots of support from like my family and friends, like without doubt. I'm doing all right. Maybe in a few years, if I do have to leave this place, like which I can't see is on the cards anyway. But I don't know what will happen to me. But at least I can say right now, I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
And I didn't need uni to open a music studio, and I've recorded a good few bands as well, and I've got some really good recordings behind me what I did before I did them with Tom.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do everything by the book to achieve what you want to do. And I feel like that's another good thing to tell people as well.
I totally agree. It's pure enthusiasm.
Like just compare me to like Bill Gates. He didn't go to uni.
Okay, that's
got too far.
Bridge too far.
Yeah, well, you never know. I could win the lottery. That'd be like Bill Gates. Go on.
Lottery.
It's like a thing that you play. I don't know if they had it.
I was just wondering how many syllables are in the word lottery.
Lottery.
Not lottery.
It's not the lottery then.
It's not the lottery.
Are you thinking lotto?
Oh, two guys from Stoke taking the mick how I pronounce my T's.
Yeah.
Watch this back. Listen to it back. Viewers, listen to how many times they do the same thing.
What?
What? Like what? Like
what are you talking about, mate? We're not missing. You're not mispronouncing
All right,
a T.
yeah, Luke. I'm just in a hole.
You're in a hole and you're
missing an
feverishly
E.
trying to scramble up.
This is a very slow roundup.
Yeah, can we?
What are your socials? Put them out there.
Riff Factory, just Riff. My cat's on Instagram.
Yeah,
Cheddar Tom.
Cheddar Tom.
That's Cheddar Tom without the R.
I have a question, actually,
Yeah.
really quick, because people call you Cad.
That's because when I was at high school,
Yeah.
I had a
In
haircut.
the 60s.
So
Carry on.
Yeah, Karen.
I had a haircut that made me look like Cadfile, the crime-solving monk, because it was like quite
Who?
short. Cadfile, the crime-solving monk.
Again, who? Can't file this.
One of the reasons I wanted to be a
spy.
Because of the crime-solving monk that used to.
You said it was cheddar without the R, but isn't it? Cheddar's it's an A instead of the ER, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, he's right.
Okay, yeah, Cheddar like Biggie Smalls would spell it.
Okay. That was a very politically correct way to deem
That's
that.
fair.
I'm
Yeah.
Politically.
shake my hand. Thank you.
Yeah.
What are your socials?
My socials are pretty much Riff Factory UK, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Twitter with just a T at the start.
Yeah, just the one.
But
T.
you
Twitter.
are going to pronounce the E before the R.
So Riff Factory UK on Twitter. Better.
Better. Yeah, better.
Uh,
yeah.
You
You said it
Better
fine
all the
first time.
If you want to look at some great Mario Maker 2 content, it's AntHume RF on Twitter, or hopefully changing my name soon to Riffers.
Riffers.
Yes, because that's my handle on everything else, and I'm very into it at the moment.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
I have to say, if I was to say, if this podcast reaches more than my mum, I would I'm just saying, it might go out and it might have one view on YouTube or one listen on the podcast, or I would recommend recording here and rehearsing here, because not only guys are you're really great, you've got good resources here, but like, I don't know,
You're not charging for this, are you?
what?
You're not charging for this.
What do you mean charging?
For the advert?
No.
Okay, so
Sound
carry
check.
on.
No, I genuinely, every time I come here is a positive experience. Whether it's in a professional sense or just to hang out, you guys are great.
Thank
Cool.
you, man.
That's ace.
Just before you go, though, has anyone ever told you that you look like Mikey from Recess?
You do?
No, what? How do you know what Recess is?
Not too old for that.
Yeah, you are. You're too old for that. Okay, Nickelodeon is past your
you like Mikey?
No,
It's a Disney.
Well,
It's Disney. I thought
yeah,
it
it's
was Nickelodeon.
Disney, man.
Oh,
Disney
damn.
Channel.
Sorry, I've known you for a long time. I've never.
You never made that connection.
Yeah,
Mike,
no,
that's
I've
the
always
big
made the
fat one,
connection.
right?
Yeah, this isn't the first time
He's
you've heard
the
this, is it?
tall singer.
No, he's the
He's not
huge
fat.
dude.
He's so huge.
Why are you piling on, dude? What's this about? What's going on?
No, he's not. He's not fat though. He's just huge, you know.
He's not fat. He's just massive.
And he's also got bleached hair.
My hair, it's not bleached. I just had a trim. It's like skin
Hey,
fit.
No one
dope
who's not a
fade.
baby has hair like that.
What colour would you say this hair is?
Baby blonde,
Baby blonde.
Just lean
Mhm.
forward a bit.
fresh baby.
I'd say dirty blonde.
Yeah, I'd say dirty blonde, because I'm also kind of, that lifestyle.
Well, they have to wash them, you know.
What?
The fresh babies.
And there we go.
You'll find that out soon,
And the
man.
We'll
podcast
find
with
out
some
soon.
dead air. Lovely. Okay.
Alright, sound.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Posh Spice.
It's okay, Fire Spice, Old Spice.
Say hi to your horses.